Hello out there, Heavy Montae here. Welcome to the Heavy Montae's morning show. Ladies and gentlemen, now I want to talk about the shutdown. Now, America, Donald Trump has placed the director and the architect of Project 2025 as the OMB director, the Officers of Management and of Management, they say, okay, personnel. And the OMB director controls all of the money. Now, Donald Trump has been trying to get here for a long time. He's been trying to get into a situation where the government can shut down. Okay, Chuck Schumer avoided it last time. Chuck Schumer said, no, we're not going to take the chance because Donald Trump was going to do some really bad things. Okay, we're going to let him pass this bill. And when he comes back again, we're going to tell him no. We're going to tell him, hey, look, you need to take care of the American people. But Donald Trump and the objective of Project 2025, if you read it, is to destroy the U.S. government. That means no money for you farmers, okay, because the government's going to be destroyed. That's no money for the American people, no money for defense, no money for FEMA, because you know what the government is now, all you people who voted for Donald Trump. You see, America, Donald Trump is a Russian spy, in my opinion. Donald Trump is trying to destroy America and safely travel to Moscow to live with his buddy Vladimir Putin. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump is a threat to America. And they say to us, we're a threat to America. They say, these influencers and podcasters saying, we want to destroy that made up government that they told you who was Joe Biden, who was them. Okay? They are the enemy of the state. They're the ones who are destroying your government. You see what I'm saying? Destroying everything. You're not safe. And before the election, I was riding around in my city and I saw all these nice houses and all these people, these Republicans here in Michigan, the so called, uh, people that are saying that they are the chosen people, cars, beautiful, I mean, dresses, dressed up, on a bunch of shit. And they gave all that stuff away for Trump. Now these people are suffering. Okay? All these people are suffering. They're going to lose their freaking jobs. Huh? If you people out there, you Republicans, don't work with the Democrats to put a stop to Trump, huh? The damage to the red state is going to be so fucking, excuse me, I don't want to curse this morning, so severe. Okay? I apologize for cussing America. So severe to the red states and to Americans, to the American people. Now, I want to say something to everybody. You need your government. The federal government can really make America great again. And Joe Biden was doing it. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump is destroying all the work of the Democratic Party because his mission is written down in Project 2025. He appointed all of the people that put together Project 2025 and they're implementing it. They're saying that they want to kill 200 million Americans. Huh? And they're trying to do it, in my opinion. And they want 98 million white people left. Okay? That's what they said. And most of them men. And a few concubines, they say. A few handmaidens who they can take and say, it's your body, but it's our freaking choice. Now, we're going to also talk about the Republican Party. The Republican Party is just like the rest of America. Huh? A lot of them are gay. Hmm? Just like a lot of Americans. A lot of them are transgender, just like J.D. Vance. You understand? You know? And I want to say they're just like that. But they can't come out, Lindsey Graham, they say, and say he's gay. You understand? Because the people in South Carolina, they tell everybody that all this stuff is bad and dirty. But now you know it can't be bad or dirty if you're following Lindsey Graham, who they say is a closet gay. If you're following Mike Johnson, you can't say gay is bad. They said Mike Johnson was sleeping with an old man, a preacher. You understand? See, Mike Johnson is a closet homosexual. Huh? And they also say as far as you as being gay. They said that whole entire Republican House, I've got a bunch of gay people there. A man, and there's a video out there. One Republican guy walked up to a guy and stuck his finger up his ass right on Congress. And the video's out there. So here they ain't lying. They say that when they're in town, the websites for gay people go crazy. Huh? You have an immoral party running us, running the country. They are the enemy of God. And they describe themselves to you. And they're doing everything that they said they were going to do. Okay? And I'm talking to the Hispanics out there. No Hispanic in Texas or anywhere can vote for a Republican. And don't forget about the Heavy Montae's registration drive. Everybody register as a Democrat. Huh? You don't want nobody to know you're a Republican. Huh? They're crooks. Huh? Lying, dirty dogs, just like Heavy said. And we can't say it on Facebook before, but now Facebook is giving them permission to do anything to us. Nothing but bots, you know. So, America, let's not ramble this morning. Let's do something about it. Huh? Let's register as a Democrat. Let's start calling these Republicans. Your freaking life depend on it. And tell them, hey, we know what you're doing. If somebody told you, these influences, that your government isn't any good and they were going to destroy it, don't tell them what they're going to replace it with. You know, don't tell you that. Huh? But you can read between the lines. They want to replace it, and make white men the rulers. Just a few of them, billionaires. They want to control all of the businesses. You understand? Because that's what the king do. Remember, you know, during the time of Robin Hood, you couldn't even hunt a deer because the deer belonged to the king. You shot a deer, they'll put your ass in jail. They will kill you, and if you took and killed the deer, you understand? They drag you in and hang your ass. You understand? That's what they want to bring to America. Now, I said before, you know, that the Republican Party is in a civil war, and these maggots, they're out there shooting people, but they're shooting their own. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? A farmer loses his farm, and a big fat bloated stink ass man like Donald Trump is making all this freaking money golfing, shitting in his pants, huh? An obscene scene, huh? When people see him, they look at him and they say, "That's a putrid dog. That's a low down scumbag." They say maybe a pedophile, and he's a pervert. You voted for a man that grabs your daughter, huh? By her private parts and said your daughter like it. He'll grab your wife. He sleep with you. He loves sleeping with other men's wives. Huh? He loved all the dirtiest, low down things in the world Donald Trump loved. He loves evil because that son of a bitch is evil. Hmm? That's right. You know. And now his back is up against the wall. We will not vote for a traitorous Republican Party. We would not vote for a bunch of closeted gay men who say they are not gay and go down and tear up and try to kill, the gay people. You know what I'm saying? And ridicule them when they are them. You understand what I'm trying to tell you, America? We are one nation. Huh? We are free to do whatever the hell we want to do. Huh? Our country is free. We are not going to allow a rogue, nasty, stink ass Republican Party full of crooks because we see who they are. You understand? And I told you a little earlier that this Charlie Kirk, they're replacing him with a bunch of young people now. They got an army of people out there telling young people they don't need an education, especially young white men. Telling young white men to go out and buy these weapons and become, terrorists. You see what I'm saying? And commit suicide for their fathers and their mothers. You know? You see what I'm trying to tell you? Who would take and get Christmas cards with their children and take pictures, okay, with them with automatic weapons? Who the hell you gonna kill, Republicans? Huh? What are you going to do? You're going to use those weapons to shoot your fellow citizens, your neighbors? But Donald Trump, you better examine yourself. You better find you a new church, find you a new minister, because time ran out on your ass. Because now the people knew who you are. Now I told you, Heavy Montae was stationed. Was working in West Virginia, and I used to drive to Hyattsville, Maryland, all the time. I took the back roads, okay, because I like to do that. I take my shotgun with me, and I drive the back roads, and I go DJ, and I went into the hollows, I went everywhere, and the level of poverty and poor people, white people, you've never seen it before because they're hiding it from you and telling you that the black people, you know, who are doing real good now and who will continue to do good because there's not that many of us. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that keep black people and minorities from getting ahead are racist white people and racist white people who are in control. We don't give a damn about a racist walking around the street who ain't got no control over us. You know, but now the Republicans in these red states, these racists, are using their, vote, you know, to be racist, to implement policies like Project 2025 that damages them because when the federal government makes a policy, you dumbass, that's negative, it affects everyone. Do you understand? Now, this is where the Republican Party has lost the argument. And this is why you should vote for them bastards. They have the money and they get to protect to take care of you, to give you health care and give you all this shit. But they give $4 trillion, they say, to the billionaires. And if you go down the list of companies that the federal government give subsidies to these billionaires, you'll go, wow. Then you'll say, shit, we want health care for all. You see what I'm saying? Just in case the pandemic come back. We want you building hospitals. We want you to educate all of our freaking children. Huh? You understand? Everybody told you yesterday that my mom, she had a belt. You understand? And Heavy didn't give that woman no trouble. You understand? I can tell you right now, I don't remember that woman whooping my ass but one time. You know what I'm trying to say? I didn't need no two, three beatings of the way Trump was whooping their ass. He beat their ass the first time, killed a bunch of freaking people, and they're still so stupid they come back to vote for him. If my mother, and I was ashamed too, to do something wrong, you know? I mean, if I did something wrong, I was hurting. I was, oh, mom, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? That was enough for me. If my grandfather used to always say, it's sad you did that. Why you do that? You understand? So my mom didn't have to whip me. All she had to do was put that belt out there and say, look, one time I got hit. Wow. Shit, that stung my ass. I said, hey, I'm done. I'm not fooling with you, Flo. I said, the hell, Flo recovery. I didn't mess around with Flo. I did what I'm supposed to do. Go to school, keep my uh, clothes clean, took care of my shit, and did what my mother told me to frickin' do. She ain't had no problem. Okay? And that's all of my sisters and brothers. She didn't play. She said, hey, you're going to be a Christian. You're going to be an honorable person. You're going to love everybody. You're not going to be a racist. You're going to be a good man. And I thank my mother today for this and all of my family members, my aunts, uncles, cousins, and everybody. Our family took care of me. That's what a family do. And the president is the leader of the family. The Republican Party is the leader of the family. The Republican Party and politicians exist to take care of the American people first. That's why we have this federal government. But now we have a federal government that's in place that is the enemy of the American people. He's attacking us with our own freaking military. Now you see that drunk ass Pete Hegseth, he got up there and he's talking to the generals. So I think the military is not going to take and follow Trump. You know what I'm saying? I think he in trouble with the military. You know, I think that they're in trouble with everybody. You have a drunken alcoholic, okay? A man like Pete Hegseth with no honor. This guy does not have, in my opinion, the education or the ability to run the U.S. Military. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you're a freaking leader and the people don't believe in you, you're in trouble. I tell you, I went to West Virginia. Okay. Uh, the people, because I was silent, the people who work for me, my workers, called me ignorant, said that I can speak. I didn't know my job. You understand? Lying to my boss, and the boss sometimes fell for it. You see what I'm trying to tell you? Because I told you they'll do anything to destroy a black person in the federal government. But I just let them lie. You know what I'm saying? And one day, the guy who took my job came to me and he said, which I'm telling you, that guy was not qualified to do my fucking job. Okay, between me and you. Okay, and he knew what the fuck he was doing. And I hired the guy, white guy, and he worked with management to screw me over. Okay, and I told him one day, I said, you go back to management and you tell these racists if they want me to leave the job, they don't want me to be in the job, just tell me, do something else. And he went to them. And he told them, he said, hey, Monte said, hell, if you don't want to be the job, and they did that. They let me work from home until I retired. You know what I'm saying? I sued their ass. They had to pay me a bunch of freaking money. You understand? You know? Because they discriminated against me 2 times. The same organization. A bunch of freaking racists. Okay? So you tell me, I can give you so many examples of the racism that I went through to make it to the top because I was black. You understand? And the same thing would happen to my grandfather. You can drive your new Cadillac downtown because a white man see it. They'll come and tear your car up back in the old days. So what that black man doing driving a Cadillac? You see what I'm trying to say? What is this black man doing as a director in West Virginia? This belongs to us, the white unqualified people. You understand? And to make it something short, the director came to me and told me he wanted to get rid of some of these people. I fought to keep their jobs, and they still backstab the black man. You understand? You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Couldn't discipline any white guy. If you do, you get fired, or they'll come after you. And that's what they did to me. They came after me, but I laughed at them because they've been playing this game a long time. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? If you discriminate against me, I'm gonna do you in because I'm gonna make sure I have the proof. If I go to somebody and say somebody did something, I got them. This day they did that, they did this, here's the papers, boom. And we have all the information. I told that story because we have all the information on Donald Trump and the Republican Party to impeach Donald Trump. Donald Trump will be impeached and kicked out. Donald Trump will be stripped of the presidency. Huh? He will be. You understand? Because dead men can't talk. You know what I'm saying? When they don't have any power. And he's getting old and he's going to lose the presidency. You understand? So when he passed away from natural causes, then he probably, all this shit will come out, about him. And it's coming out now about him. You see what I'm saying? All the stuff is coming out about him now. So this is Heavy Montae and the Heavy Montae Morning Show telling you the government shut down. It's a bunch of bullshit. The Republican Party is trying to destroy everything for you. The wife and I went out and bought food. We have plenty of food here. We have, money here. My implants in my teeth February the 2nd, the dentist said they'll be able to put in my implants. You can see I have perfect teeth. Now, when I get to a 3, be white teeth, 'cause my teeth are white, I take care of them. They just fell out because I got old. You see what I'm trying to say? But I do want to say to the American people this morning, on the left and the right, time for us to come together and get rid of Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say. I say bygones should be bygones. And we should work together to get rid of Donald Trump on the left and the right. You see what I'm trying to say? I think we had enough of gloating and saying that the Republicans, they're like the farmers. They should have learned their lesson. They should learn their lesson. These people who voted for Donald Trump should learn their lesson and learn that you have to have a education, especially political education. You have to take and look at the person who you're voting for, you know. And you have to take and, go to their meetings, whatever, to their rallies or whatever. You got to sit down, you know. And the resume of these Republicans are not good, because they sold the base a bunch of lies. The base believed it. you know. So the politicians had to convert to what the base believed, that black people were taking this space. You know what I'm saying? That Hispanics were destroying the country. We didn't need them, you know. The country's going to be better if you get rid of the Hispanics, which is a lie. And you see that farmers are losing everything. You see what I'm trying to tell you? These red states have shown us that they are taking the federal money and they are abusing the federal money. A little place like South Carolina. Why is it poor? Because it's controlled by Republicans that are abusing the federal dollars. So we need to make absolutely sure that we have a system to find out what the hell that they're doing to the state, you know, in the state, the federal money. Now I'll say this to you: if the federal government, they say you're gonna do some type of block grants and send them to the states, right? You see what I'm saying? If you send money down to South Carolina, and Lindsey Graham, you might as well be throwing it into a damn fireplace and burning it. You see what I'm saying, Red States? You guys fucked up. You know, now we know y'all what a bunch of bullshitters you are in Tennessee, letting your roads fall apart. You know, you don't want any infrastructure. You want the people to suffer so you can control them and keep the money for yourself in the red states. You understand? And they do that shit here in Michigan too, you dumbass. You know, here in Michigan, we got all this freaking money. One of the greatest states in America, Great Lakes, tourism, all this shit. And we got these stink ass Republicans in the Michigan that killed all these people in Flint, Michigan with lead and shit. We put them in charge. And in Michigan, the Republicans took over Detroit when they came in and did the same thing they did when the that Trump's doing. You know what I'm saying? Took over the government, you know, and shit. Tell everybody that black people can't do the job, and they fucked up and they killed a bunch of people. The people even died yet from the lead poisoning in Flint. You know, and we prosecuted them too. They prosecuted the people that government them should have been to jail. Right here, in my opinion. You know, I want, they try to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer when the Republican gave the people dirty freaking water to drink. You know what I'm saying? Be children sick. You understand, America? In a so-called black city, Flint. You know, anybody in Flint, Michigan that votes for Donald Trump or Republicans is a damn fool. Anybody in Michigan. You know, the Republican Party was decimated here in Michigan. They were fighting and doing all kind of stuff. And the reason they won, Trump. These people voted for somebody they say who is a pedophile and a pervert who's not, and they still some unfollow them, but not many. Oh, a maggot friend called me yesterday, and he said he made a prediction, and I hope he's right. You know, we got a dollar bet on this thing. He said Donald Trump ain't gonna last another 90 days. He said his health is bad. He said J.D. Vance is doing all the speaking now. You see, right? Donald Trump is really not able to do the job right now, so he has to go. You know, they trying to cover up for him. And when Vance come in, Vance is hated more than Donald Trump. You know, the maggots really gonna go crazy if Vance come in the chair. You understand? Because there's so many things bad about Vance that we can bring out, you know, and just tell everybody what he's doing. You know, his name, we want to know his real name. We want to know whether or not he's transgender. Okay, because people say he's transgender. Okay, and not saying that I have anything against it. Do what the hell you want to do. You understand? But don't be beating up on people and you doing the same damn thing. You know, don't be cutting down the gay people when you're gay. Lindsey Graham, Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? You saw what Donald Trump did with that microphone. You know what I'm saying? Despicable human being. Now, before I leave, I want to talk about the Antichrist. Okay? Donald Trump, in my opinion, is the Antichrist. And if you read it in the Bible, it's plural. Adolf Hitler was an Antichrist. Donald Trump is Satan, in my opinion. Okay? And we need to pour some water on that motherfucker. And pouring the water on that motherfucker is putting out this whole goddamn on Republican Party, the Senate and the House, and getting rid of that goddamn Supreme Court. Huh? Them motherfuckers need to be fired. The next president need to ask them, get the fuck out of there. Ask them to resign. Don't fund them. Take away all their fucking money. Okay? Until we do something. Because they are a danger to America. John Roberts is a fucking voter suppressionist. You have men who they say are on that Supreme Court who are accused of sexually hurting women. They don't like women. So they're going to vote against women. And that's what they're doing. Okay? You have Amy Comey Barrett, okay? A vicious fucking racist, in my opinion. Okay, a handmaiden. Okay, a lying piece of shit. She come and tell us that she's making good decisions. Good decisions for Trump. You understand? And, Alito, he hate gay people. You know what I'm trying to tell you? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. Huh? Thomas. That goddamn joker bought and paid for. Now he's talking about he wants to do something for marriage equality. Huh? Well, he married a fat, nasty, stink ass pig. You know what I'm saying? His wife, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? She's going around this and she had something to do with January 6th. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. Huh? You know what I'm trying to tell you? You don't hear nothing about it. That motherfucker belong in jail. And we need to examine it. Even if the statute of limitation is ran out. The Democratic Party made one mistake. And I'm glad that Trump did this. The DOJ works for the president. And the DOJ, they say, okay, Department of Justice. So the Department of Justice, our next president and the Democratic Party need to get a list, check it twice. And because they are criminals, they did this shit. Perry needed to be examined. You understand? They said everybody who has something to do with January 6th, they need to take a look at. They need to drag Jim Jordan ass in before the Congress. And need to charge that son bitch the same way they're trying to do to Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff didn't do shit. But Jim Jordan and all these other, and Lindsey Graham, need to call them up and ask them a question under oath. Are you gay? You know what I'm saying? Well, that's not, what are you going to say? You shouldn't be asking me that question. You know what I'm trying to say? Yes or freaking no. Huh? Mega Mike, are you living with an old man? Huh? Are you having sex with this old man at night? Huh? You know? And Mike Johnson and Mega Mike Johnson. I'm sorry. Mega Mike Johnson, between me, you and me, huh? Shit. That old man, they said got him running. I'm trying to tell you. He's sleeping with a preacher or something. So he's a closet homosexual. Hmm? You understand? And they beating up on my gay brothers and sisters when they doing the same damn thing. Telling people they ain't no good. You know what I'm saying, America? This is the Every Monday Morning Show, and I'm going to let you go. But please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I tell you, America, we have 502 subscribers. We have met our goal. We're going for 1,000. You understand? So please subscribe to the Heavy Montae YouTube channel. A voice crying on the web. This progressive voice saying never ever vote for a Republican again. This progressive voice saying that Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump are low down dirty dogs. You understand? And the Republican Party does not deserve to lead this country. Now the time is running out. The time is running out for them, America. They don't have no time. And they're going to be resigning. And they were in New York. Now, Donald Trump is taking all this money from New York, bringing up the infrastructure, doing everything to destroy New York. That means that you 5 Republicans in New York that are Republicans in the House, change parties right now. Huh? Change parties right now and protect your country and protect the state of New York. If they don't do it, vote them out. Right? Huh? If Mike Lawler, huh, doesn't stand up, vote his ass out. Huh? If any Republican in any state right now that's allowing the federal government to destroy their state, red or blue, vote the Republican ass out. That's all you got to do. Okay? You understand? If they gerrymander, don't worry about them. Vote them out. They fucked us over in the red states and right here in Michigan. And they're telling us they want us to vote for them again? Never, ever vote for a Republican. And please subscribe to the Henry Monte YouTube channel. Have a great day, America. See you tomorrow morning again.